Exhausted and disappointed with allies, Ukraine's president and military chief warn of long attritional war.
Here's a summary of the article.
Get time, if U less than equals A and D less than equals L, throw new range error, invalid interval, return R, inclusive, U less than equals L and D less than equals A, UT, ISNAN T. Step 1, if S less than 1, ISNAN S, throw new range error options. Step 1, if L less than 1, ISNAN L, throw new range error options. Get time less than equals N, throw new range error, invalid interval, var U equals R, for U. Modules equals, T equals 0, T less than equals U, throw new range error, invalid interval, var I equals, A equals T, for A. Default T, throw new range error, invalid time value, var N equals days, R equals 0, index 3. Default T, throw new range error, invalid time value, var I equals 0, index 3.
This post received a score of 10,000, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
4 months should have been enough time for us to have reached Crimea, to have fought in Crimea, to return from Crimea and to have gone back in and out again, he adds. CNN manipulates that sentence here. He said that ironically, adding, according to NATO textbooks. He meant that it looks good on paper, but even forces and strong Russian defensive lines make it very hard in reality.
It's hard to fight with NATO doctrine when you're missing the things NATO relies on, like air superiority and long-range missiles. CNN also references the notorious recent Time article without any mention of the author's pro-Russian sympathies. Instead they say Shuster has long had access to the president's inner circle. Well, maybe Putin's inner circle.
And NATO's institutional knowledge and standardization. What they have is an army with vastly varied levels of training and experience. A hodgepodge of equipment crewed by soldiers with at most an express course in operation. Led by officers with various levels of buy-in in NATO doctrine. It's very difficult to leverage something like that effectively and in a coordinated fashion.
And NATO itself hasn't actually fought dug-in Russian troops on a large scale. For all we know, they'd do worse.
At the start of the Gulf War, the US and its allies had over 1,000 planes in the air at once. Ukraine has a grand total of about 40 functional aircraft, and even those are getting strikes in.
This is exactly what Russia is probably hoping for. The West doesn't exactly have the best attention span. Soon we will all get bored and start looking at other things. While Russia continues to slowly annex Ukraine.
Who is we? Because it sounds like we is the Reddit consumer.
That was always the Russian strategy. Like when conquering Crimea, they just have to wait out waning Western determination to fund continued conflict. As a resource exporter, via the Grey Fleet, to Europe and Asia, they can afford to continue.
It certainly gets interesting in light of what's going on in the Middle East and Russia's influence there. It feels like there's a purposeful effort to drag the West into conflict across multiple fronts. It's all tied together.
Read Halford Mackinder on geopolitics. It most definitely is connected, and the line from the Baltic straight down to Israel he regards as the most important axial point on the planet. Whether it is true or not, all military academies teach about it, US, Britain, Russia, China etc. If they behave as though it is true, it becomes true. Broader goal is to dismantle Western domination of trade, finance and political control, which is already in full swing from Latin America to Africa to Asia.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.